Hey YouTube, wanted to put another entry into my time capsule. It's been about a week so far, and I've just been on a roll with the pieces of fiction I've been consuming more recently. I think this is the first kind of run of fiction that I've been like really passionate about, that I've had in about like 3 years, where something's really moved me to this extent. Uh, I just finished reading a story called Akane-banashi. It's the story of a girl whose father was this like form of a Japanese storyteller or like an orator, right? Where they tell stories in a way that's supposed to kind of show, like they do mannerisms and they do all these kind of storytelling kind of voiceovers, and kind of show like a story in their, how do I put it, almost like they're projecting the story in their like background, and it's just them sitting on like some kind of futon type situation telling a story in a way that's like supposed to compensate and show like almost like entire movie in that person's like head, the person that's viewing it. I think it's called a rakugo. So she is the daughter of someone like that, and the father is trying to become a high level Japanese performer to make enough money to support the family, and he has to go through this test to go to that higher level and to be a Japanese orator that can support the family, and he fails. And he actually not only fails, he gets like expelled from like a school of like orators. And at the time the expulsion's kind of questionable, and the person that's judging, her dad is like the kind of best or Japanese orator in the country at that period of time. And daughter did not like that. The main character, the daughter, did not like that, and she from then on kind of pledges to be an orator that's able to kind of like, that shows that her dad's way of storytelling is enough to make it to the big leagues, essentially. So you go from there and you see her journey. She's like a high school girl. She graduates high school. She goes straight into this kind of orator school, like where she like is endorsed by a master, right? The same master that endorsed her dad. So she's learning from him. And you see her journey as she's working her way up. And there's this moment where, she's applying for a test, and this test, she has she has three stories that she can choose from that her pupils kind of tell her about. So her older kind of like elder statesman tells her about them, right? One of them is a story that would fit her in terms of the way she's kind of told stories previously. Another one is like a nice, safe one, right? That'll get the people going, right? And it'll give her a good response from the audience. Another one is one that her dad would do, right? And she clearly, obviously, chooses the one that her dad would do because that's what she came into this business for. And in the moment, she's practicing it, she's learning it, right? And then it gets to the actual day where she actually performs it. And she has like this moment when she's performing it. She's doing a really good job where she's performing it and she flashes back. There's this unease in the way she's like doing it. She feels uncomfortable during the actual performance because it really hits her that like the way her dad practiced like being a Japanese orator was a little bit weak. And that maybe that guy that expelled her had a point. And then she's having this kind of imagery going on during her performance, and she actually faces her child self that actually really appreciated and like looked up to her dad. She still does, right? But at that time it was almost like blind to his flaws. And she confronts the little kid, her kid version of herself, and she, they come to the conclusion that, are you afraid that your dad was actually like a weak like person in general? And she has this moment where, her and the child like are looking at each other, and then they have like a breakthrough moment where she says yes, he was weak. Right? She just kind of accepts it. She doesn't necessarily deny it at that period of time. And from then on, she says, hey, he's weak, but it's his weakness that made him that it was his weakness that helped me attach to his Japanese, or like Japanese storytelling, or storytelling even more. How do I put it? I don't even know how to put it. I'm not going to edit this out. It was his weakness that made him great in a way. And that just made me extremely, that hit me very, very hard. It was an understanding that he was weak, right? That made him great in a way. Because in Japanese storytelling, like in any other kind of professional business, it's usually the strong personalities that make it to the top. And with those strong personalities, it's almost them imposing their will on whatever it's in front of them that paves the path for them. While her dad's means of storytelling was the opposite of that. It was very friendly, very kind, and it made people comfortable around him. And it made, he had influence on a lot of people around him. And a lot of people, and she reflects on that in that moment. All these individuals that she's in her journey towards being a Japanese storyteller, she runs into all these people her dad has had an influence on. And you start to see how much they appreciated him, how much he moved them forward, the little kind of bits of kindness and bits of advice he'd give each and every one of them, right? That helped them move forward, and they're all appreciative of him for that. And that weakness is what helped him kind of do all those sort of things. It was just really nice, her having that kind of moment while she was practicing her art form, and having that breakthrough moment, and the amount of resolution that she had when she finished kind of performing that piece in front of the audience. And it was a good piece. They the audience was happy about it. And having this kind of uncertainty that she's had the entire time that bubbled up during the performance, and her simultaneously being able to resolve it during that performance as well, was really special. Was extremely special. And it felt like the relationship she has with her dad is similar to the one I have with mine as well. And it felt nice being able to see that in real time. My father, in a weird way, he's never been shy about kind of saying the weaknesses of his past. And it's because of that he's been able to kind of, he was very hard on me at the beginning of life, throughout high school. And it was because of his own weaknesses that he was hard on me. But now, I've had these moments, or I've had those breakthroughs as well with regards to my relationship with my father, right? And one thing is being away for college is what does it as well, and being appreciative of as to how he's raised me. You just look around and you see what's going on, and you're happy that you have this kind of this firm foundation that he's built in me. And it gives you a bit of appreciation for how he raised me. And seeing her relationship with her father flesh out like that, her having that bit of resolution, and seeing that projected in my own relationship with my own father, was very satisfying. It was one of the most satisfying moments I've had with fiction in the past 3 years. One of the most. It's been a while since I've had a run of really nice moments with fiction. It's kind of enlightening, it's kind of bringing that passion right back out of me, and I don't think there's anything that could do better than this medium at getting this kind of emotion out of me, because it's just so honest. It's just a really honest medium, and I wish more people could experience it on a worldwide scale. And I think the world will be a better place because of it, but that's not the case. This series is like just primarily like popular in Japan, and I guess I heard about it just roaming on the internet and just seeing what other people were saying about it, and I just had to give it a shot, and it was worth it. I'm maybe like 17 chapters behind, but I'm taking a break for now. Just too emotionally burnt out from reading it, because it's just when it hits too close to home, it's a good read, right? But then you need time to process it, and I'll give it a little bit of time and just enjoy other kind of bits and pieces of fiction that aren't as stressful. Um, yeah, that was it was incredible. The way I read it too. I read like 80 chapters over the course of like from Friday at like 1 a.m. Woke up at 5 a.m. the next day and just read up until like 3 p.m. So it was very, I just couldn't stop. So that's where we're at right now. I appreciate you guys for watching. Yeah, just another entry.